Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast centered around the top 100 of Kyber 1 for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm joined by the full regular cast. We have Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal with us today. And gentlemen, it was a pretty good week. I went 2-1, so it broke the undefeated streak. We swept last week, and the final match was the loser versus Barator. A good match and a couple, surprising results. So yeah, not bad. I'm making do with this season, and it's been okay. But Dagger, how about you?
Well, I live in Minneapolis, so not great.
You got quieter all of a sudden, just so you know.
Oh, I said I live in Minneapolis, so not great.
Yeah, I bet. Fair enough.
Gacka went 3-0.
Nice. All right, over to you, TJ. How about you? How'd the week go?
I don't know where we're naming locations. I live in Arizona, so samey, I guess. But also 1-2, and it went to shit. But that's okay.
Fair. Yeah, that does sound a bit rough. Sasha Aisha, how'd the week go out in the Rhodium land?
I live in what's apparently a defense-free zone. I had 2 real matches. I couldn't generate a single hold in either, so it was a 1-2 week. But otherwise okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of bemoaning the shorter duration of datacrons, but that's my own issue. That's it.
No, it's everybody's issue.
We can definitely spend some time on that later in the show if you guys want to share your thoughts, because people would want to know. So we can cover the regular items and talk about that. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a rotation on the soapbox. I'm feeling it.
Dude, take turns. Yeah. It's going to be a pick apart then.
Yeah.
One soapbox, each person gets their turn.
That's right. All right. Well, appreciate that, Sasha. And on over to you, Fatal. How did the week go?
2-1. At some point, I will stop dooming when I'm first attacker and slip into, I have to salvage the stream somehow, so I will try to be an entertainer. Yet again, it's like twice a season now where if I just stayed strong and followed through with the golf swing, I would have been 3-0. You would think I would learn at some point.
I understand. I have been there. So, fair enough. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into the regular agenda. As always, meta-analysis up first. A couple things to talk about. First one, of course, Stranger is the elephant in the room. Now, as far as the good, the bad, and the ugly goes with compositions on defense, I think we could start from the bottom and say that if you're not running Xeris, and if you're not running a Jedi, if you're not going to run Xeris and you're not going to run like a Jedi tank plus something, it's really just nothing. It's really just a nothing team. And here's the sad part: even if you do have a pre-taunting tank, unless you have something else that's going to put it right back, like Maz with a support cron. Again, this is assuming that, there's not a Visas, not a Xeris, not an active healer cron or something. Maz with a support cron is just able to dispel whatever pre-taunt that team has and then just bully down Stranger and it's done. But the most dangerous composition that I think we've seen this last week was with Starkiller, Visas, Xeris, the Xeris healer cron, and then a dark side unaligned force user of your choice. The best options are probably Maul or Malicos. I fought 2. One of them I had to hack apart, and the other one I used C. The other one had, instead of either the Maul or the Malicos, it had a crew, so there was no third attacker to stress me. So it was easy money for C-Bane. And that was a 67. What tales from the front do you guys have about Stranger?
I'm still gonna comment on it. To me, it's not. So it's still Barris. If you're not putting Barris, you're not putting a team. What are you doing with yourself? But the other one, and I keep saying it, I'm looking at the numbers are supporting it. Even with C-Bane, Cal is the 5th, and then you put Maul. because it's the added ability to put the ability block just shuts down. It's 21% win rate. It just without even putting anything else in there is just absurd on the level. Yes, Visas is a great like underblind to that, but if you're willing to commit that team to it, the numbers I see just shrink like substantially.
Like I'm the only person who in my team comp.
Talk to us
Say
about it.
this. Really quick, I will say this: if you whatever you place, for the love of God, do the math and make sure your stranger is not the weakest.
I think that's a good call.
For the love of God, like, because I did mace once because I did the math on my opponent, and like, I just handcuffed their stranger and the fight ended. Like,
Yeah,
on
it's a
the
really
spot.
good call.
Like, on the fucking spot. Like, they did nothing the whole fight.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
Like, don't get me wrong, Starkiller fucked me up, but like, the stranger did nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
So yeah, Fatal, talk to us about the composition that you were running. Hear more.
I think if you're not posting Malicos, you are fucking up. I think if you are not posting Barrows with support run, you are fucking up. And yeah, Cal, you just put in there because why the hell wouldn't you? Everything else sucks.
Why not Visas?
I don't think she exists in Galaxy of Heroes.
Okay, because the revive does happen to people. It does happen, and it's happened to
If the
people. at
revive
inconvenient
happens to
times.
people, they are not players that I am worried about beating.
That's fair. All right, so you're throwing in Cal, and tell us why you think Malicos is indispensable over Maul, for example.
Do you wish to die to Nine Sisters?
So you mean Mother Talzin, Night Sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wish? Okay, so the whole idea that I would actually put down here is think about support cron. Right? We have one support. His name is OG Cal. Malicos gives him a savior. So for anybody that you aim at that is not named Cal, you are getting support cron. Obviously, you start off with the 2-turn CI, but it's Stranger Bleed, so that shit falls off pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing to be doing. It's a very similar strategy to how I built my Leia squad, which we'll talk about later. That god holds every single round.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a mini puzzle box to me of sorts because I mean I'm not gonna like obviously healer cron. I understand that the heal immunity has their damage. Like that's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not aware of my Stranger team dying to anything. Like it got I think one shot in round 3 by a C Bane. Bane was dead, and C did not finish with any protection, so that was like a 64.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty cool thing if it's gonna happen.
Yeah. This is doing this fight. I anticipate to be fighting more Maul Malicos type of things. And if that's the case, I'm really glad that now both C and Bane are both Relic 10. I feel great about that going into this week. All right, I'm sorry. Who else has more to report on fighting the Stranger?
The Visas thing worked out good.
Tell us about that. Yeah, you had him. Now, if you weren't here last week, folks, Dagger took his up to something like 325 and intended to post it with a turn. Sorry?
327.
327 and intended to post it with a turn meter cron such that at battle start, Visas would open up with her AoE and immediately put locked healing immunity onto the enemy team because of the healing datacron. So tell us how that went for you.
It was less about the AoE and more just having your healer go first against... specifically, there were a couple of teams people were theorizing would beat it early, and they relied on attacker cron.
Mm-hmm.
So shutting down their ability to ignore taunt while also having their damage was the plan. And it was good against a bunch of stuff. I don't know. You can go and look and see what people used against it. I haven't actually looked, but we can pull the couple other people I know who did it, it worked pretty well for them too. Now the speed budget is pretty high.
One guy tried Bane into Starkiller or into Riva and made some progress with Riva. He would have been able to clean it, but he stopped. Round 2.
The person who beat it with Mace, I chatted with them, and apparently my Stranger got handcuffed in that fight.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think it's a really good call. That is I mean, if you take anything
And
else
look at
away,
the
that
damage.
is such a great call.
And look at the damage that my team did with him getting handcuffed.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. Yeah, I like it.
Now I'm not saying that this is perfect. I think the Jedi should be Xeris. I wanted to go with Mace initially just because I don't know. I felt like the taunt would be helpful,
Mhm.
but after fighting it a few times, I don't think the taunt actually matters much. I think it's more about just how do you sustain a little bit better and try to like force more turns out of your team. So I do think that if I was going to do that, I think this week it'll probably be Visas Xeris.
Okay.
I don't like putting OG Cal there. I could see putting Malicos there. I don't know. I don't like the resource allocation of putting Malicos and Cal on that team because
yeah. Mhm.
I was just gonna say because then that means you just functionally don't have a seer team, and that means Maul's homeless.
Well, I was gonna say let's hear what Fatal's doing. So how is this affecting your Ray team on defense? And obviously you're just canning your Seer Malicos team for the time being. Fatal's mic on mute, maybe.
Can't hear you, Fatal.
Sorry, I thought I was aiming a dagger. Repeat, please.
No, I was just saying for your composition of Stranger that you were endorsing here. How are you dealing with your Ray on defense, not having Cal, for example, if that was something you were otherwise doing? How how are you coping with the loss of Sir Malicos, whether on defense or offense, as its own team?
I think Ray is the worst Galactic Legend of the game by a mile right now. I do not really I think I tried posting some dumb cope puzzle trap team. Let me scroll down to this right here. What did I do? SLK? Yeah, that sounds about right. I just have zero faith in Ray. I think Ray desperately needs a lifter, way more than a character like JML does right now. I don't really care what happens to her. I don't really care what I take from her. Seer, I don't know. I might not even post Stranger in week 3 for context, but I'm in this weird bind right now because EP Star Killer, I know what I'm going to do with that team. Seer Malicos, I know what I'm going to do with that team. Stranger Maul, I'm pretty sure I could make work, but I don't need them. And I don't think it's anything on defense either. So until Spider-Man comes out, I feel like he's kind of stuck in limbo. Because I don't think I want to post this team on defense because the tools that it's taking up are so luxurious on offense. If I see a Ray Ezra and I just get to EP Starkiller for 65 in this economy, holy shit! Like, yeah, absolutely, I want to be doing that. You post like a Reva attack or something like that. Yeah, absolutely, I want to have a Seer for that. So what am I doing with Stranger is now like, I got my 2 rounds of holds with the comp, but if you're asking me, I'm like, how do I justify the cost? I kind of
make sure you're not caught short. Yeah, for whatever.
I kind of don't, but at the same time, I have way more teams on offense than I need already. So this is such a bizarre season from what I expected it to be, because I really thought that once Attacker Crons got nerfed, and I was like, all right, let's zoom in on the season and like see what to expect. I thought it was gonna be like normal Galaxy of Heroes, but more so with the roll crons, and we really did not get that, or at least that's not what I'm seeing at all. So the usual game plan that I had didn't really apply. That I'm just like, I'm holding like 18 B+ teams for an offense, and people are just posting like Boba lead. I'm like, what? Boba lead, Zori? Like, I could Malgus both of those solo. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So, like, cost-wise, I can technically afford it right now. Like I did last round, and it was like I still had extra to spare.
Yeah, and an 1847 on offensive score, no less.
It was 1847 that could have easily been higher, but because I was attacking second, it was just like, yeah, why risk it? Just I'm 5-manning everything. I'm bringing extra fleets for everything. I'm not playing for banners. Just put the wins in the bag and like free win.
Absolutely makes sense.
So a follow up on the stranger. If you are not one of those people who uses EPSK versus Ray, do you think that is still a reasonable team on defense, or do you still think that team is not going to be good enough for Starkiller?
Are you talking about Stranger without Starkiller?
I'm talking about Stranger with Starkiller, because there are, a lot of people that don't rely on EPSK versus Ray. Like, because you were saying that you don't want to post it with Maul, and you were saying like different things about like what you didn't want to do with it. So what I'm asking you is, do you think that there are versions of that team that you could set that do not include Malicos or Cal, like you said earlier, but just Starkiller, that are still reasonable?
I just don't. It doesn't feel good to post it on defense and then have it just get C-baned. As much as everything else like feels like pretty rock steady right now. Like, to be clear, I didn't even plan to post them last week. Like, I'm pretty sure Handcuff on Stranger would have happened. But even then, it's Barris plus support Kron. I don't know that Mace would have worked. Is like how sturdy the comp is that like if you're okay with C-Bane getting done to you and you feel secure in your offense, I do think my configuration is probably one of the best ways that you can play it. It's got threat diversification, it's got just about everything you could want except for a way to hold the C-Bane.
I feel like if you're using C-Bane, that's a win for me, though, as the defensive player.
I used to feel that way. I just don't know that I really feel that way about defensive theory crafting anymore. I'm more happy.
The price they pay.
Price just doesn't matter because there's so many teams. I am more happy that they bled 2 banners using C-Bane in the process. That Bane got fucked and C did not get his protection back is a bigger win to me.
Fair. All right.
I just think Bane is a strong enough thing that you can, if you can pull it on your Stranger, you can actually like move your stuff around to force it, or to like reward yourself for them not having some of those toys. Like, it's a little bit different, like, because everybody at this point knows that Fatal is just heavy posting. But I think if you are less predictable, or I guess I don't have a better way to phrase it, but like, if you only have X amount of teams that are worth asking serious questions, I think taking C-Bane out of their pocket is significant if you can force it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, C-Bane's cheap and it doesn't matter because you have too much for offense. It's like, yeah, but like, there's still like 5 teams you have to bring like a real answer to, and Bane is a real answer to several of them.
Frankly, yeah, I think I agree with what you were saying. I just like,
not that I disagree with your sentiment about theory crafting for defense. I'm just I'm working through this backwards in my head about like, if I were to set this, what does my defense look like, right?
If you're going to set it and you're in a position where you can like apply leverage with it, yeah, it's probably a good thing. I just don't get to do that because everyone expects me to do what the fuck I do.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah. Like,
yeah. So what's the weakest version of this team you can set, do you think?
I haven't had a chance to play Talzin versus Stranger to know like how losable that is. But like I would be pretty nervous about not running Malicos at minimum. And then to boot, I think Sporkron really helps juice longevity. Because basically all of my Stranger holds, and partly this is probably just because Stranger was not on defense modding, like all their holds was Stranger dead, the rest alive. Which obviously, if you're trying to be greedy, you want those 10 extra banners, you would kind of prefer like a full back out. But to me, that really spoke to like, like people were like trying Maz. Okay, Stranger dies to the AoE easily. The rest, yeah, good luck. You're not moving anything. Tiers of, it's support Kron. Support Kron's pretty damn good right now.
So you run Xeris Cal with the support Kron?
Malicos.
Yep, the whole idea actually originated from me being deeply unhappy with the Riva matchup. I was not happy about the death mark, so the closest thing I could think of is, okay, if I run Barris and Support Kron and OG Cal, then every time that Deathmark gets hit, I'm getting hit for 50% health, but I'm also roughly replacing 50% health.
Okay.
And, you know, are people using Riva? Doesn't really seem like it. But I think it's just a sturdy foundation, right? Again, you have to kill an OG Cal who is built to not die, who has a savior behind him. Like, even if I wasn't posting Stranger, I think Cal Support Kron under Seer is fun for very similar reasons because of the whole support. Well, wait, is Seer support? She is, but I mean, you could still have her build just as survivably, right? It's the like right when you're fighting a Malicos. What's the one thing you try to do? You try to kill the Malicos first. Support Kron says, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah.
You got to come through me first, but Malicos says, "Well, you got to do it twice," and I think that's a fun interplay.
Sure, I see it. I like that. Sasha, you've been pretty quiet. Come on in out of the cold. Got anything to say about Stranger?
Yeah, I mean, I actually used it on offense in
Really? Okay.
my 2 rounds. Yeah, I did it deliberately. I wanted to see how it played. I wanted to use it against Pirate King Hondo.
Jesus. Yeah, so it worked.
Yeah, very smoothly. Like very, very smoothly. And the problem is I did that against one of the Phantom Menace opponents, and understandably, I think then my subsequent Phantom Menace opponent probably anticipated it. So I did not see Pirate King Hondo the next round. But and then I took it in for a mirror match again for shits and giggles. I was I was tempted to set it on D and use gas with the Rex FDC against Pirate King Hondo, but decided I wanted to actually, at least in the first round, set the Rex FDC. I did that with gas under a Queen Amidala squad on D in the first round. It got me exactly no holds, but I was quite impressed certainly with the Stranger squad. I had modded them going into the week very much for thickness, like their defense secondaries on my squad quite high, certainly for Stranger and Star Killer. So survivability was my primary focus. The interesting thing about the mirror that I did, so the round before, I took Treya and DV against a Star Killer squad, and that was surprisingly comfortable. I had a Kron with good survivability, and generally modded that Sith Triumvirate squad for some survivability. They hung in there, and that was fine. But that was against. It was either a support Kron or an attacker Kron. I think it was an
It's
attacker.
An attacker
Kron
I'm seeing here on screen.
Attacker, yeah. And then if the next round was against a healer Kron, and what got me anxious was sort of just in my mind recalling that first one, the first match, and thinking, gosh, Savage is such a beast. He regens all the way back up. Everybody ends up hanging in there. I was thinking, boy, wouldn't a 2-turn locked healing immunity feel pretty crappy right there? So I decided not to bring Treya. I had some other options, but I was curious to find an interesting place to apply my Stranger. That mirror matchup, I would say in the first 30 seconds, the opponent's Star Killer got to the ship and pulled it down. My Star Killer never got to the ship.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was just my Star Killer didn't move a ton, but the survivability was so high. And it just hung in there. And the advantage, not Night Sister related, but tied to very much what Fatal was getting at, of Malicos, who was, whose damage is not nearly as impressive in a non-full UFU squad, but that cannot revive aspect of his unique. Like Fatal said for Night Sisters, here it was great against healers. Like I just knew I had a life to spare because I had a healer Kron on mine. They did not have a life to spare, and so I just focus fired down and kind of took them out one after another. And even though Star Killer had reached his ult, it was fairly comfortable.
I knew I was onto some shit when the Maul kit came out, and like a good chunk of what Maul does is basically what my comp does in the aggregate. Oh, we got revive block. Sure.
Yeah.
We got per turn reactive shielding. Yep, that's all there. I mean, the only difference is I don't have the fracture and the taunt, but the whole point of the team is that it doesn't really matter who you hit, that it's gonna kind of suck for you anyway. So.
Yep.
Fair.
Yep.
All right. I appreciate that. Great notes, Sasha. Anything else you guys want to talk about with Stranger before we move on?
Yeah, I understand a lot of this has to do with the board, and a lot of this has to do with the amount of teams we have. And I don't mean this to say that it's not like an amazing team and a really cool character. But to my knowledge, this is the most underwhelming a new team has been in a while. Maybe we just haven't figured out the right comp.
It's just, to me, looking at what they're doing, it's the absence of Maul.
Yep.
Once we get Maul, I truly believe Barris is going to live there to help with all the crits that are going to take place. You can't just crit and get away with BS. I think they tied in a great character that's highly overpowered. It does all the things that's utilization. That once we actually get our hands on Maul and that effective taunt, but it's Mark, so you can't just play the uniqueness of it. I think their expectation is that's the other piece that's going to make that just next level.
Oh, I actually had a question because I remember I posed this to Tass and like neither one of us had an answer to it. Does equalizing health get around Maul's can't heal?
Interesting. I would assume so. I mean, it circumvents healing immunity.
Yeah.
I would think it does, yeah. We'll have to see, but I would think it does.
Because that would like lock Xeris into that team.
I really feel like Xeris is like, even once this is all done, and I honestly believe even once the whole Kron thing goes away, her ability that you're going to try to crit scenarios, it just really fucks with it.
Fair.
Also, is there a world where you just do like Xeris GK?
They are both Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi, 2 Jedi.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Your logic was there, but I think that's why they want. That's why they want him to carry the weight. Yeah. I think that's where they want Maul to carry so much weight to try to make him the durable as he can, and then also your like
Also-
non-taunting tank.
Also, I think this is the time we start considering a health triangle on Starkiller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was considering it going into this week because, well, not for this week, but just going forward. He's going to mark the healthiest dark side Ufu,
Yes.
and if
That's-
he's going to be forcing a taunt onto Starkiller,
Bulk up your Malicos, bro.
you can't have Malicos, Starkiller,
And Maul.
Maul on the same
Not
team.
with that attitude.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what's stopping.
Don't
me.
let your dreams be memes.
He doesn't understand that I am cutting Starkiller out of the squad and keeping Malicos and Maul.
They will
That's
never
right.
predict this grand strategy.
Fair.
The
All
EP Mara Starkiller will happen no matter what.
Fatal will
By
ensure that
any
this will
means-
continue.
By
Right, he doesn't
any
alter
means
further.
necessary.
That's
All right,
right.
let's move
See,
to the
that-
next meta analysis.
Fatal's new Darth Vader's not
Really
coming out of
quick.
the wrapper.
But that
Go ahead.
explains all the Visas slander on the Strangers because he requires it on the EPSK team.
You are using Require very... I'm not going to use her next time just to spite you.
It's my cope. It's my cope, Fatal. I love Visa.
Mhm.
The line is drawn, gentlemen.
All right, guys, I got to move us into the next item here in meta analysis. Briefly here on Boba and Jabba. Now, this was a team we saw last week, and I suppose some folks had tried Mother Talzin. I had not, but I did this week. The one time I saw it, and I went in no zombie. Right? I think it was like Initiator Acolyte I took in besides the other regular crew with DACA, with the DACA Kron. I took the Kron that had health and crit damage on it, trying to set up for my sides to get nuked a bit harder. I don't know if anybody actually died aside from Asajj, because basically all the other sides but Jabba keeled over, and without Jabba's lead to presumably perpetuate the fight, just bringing back the Asajj on the basics was enough to just smack him down to death in a little over a minute. So it felt like I was basically just no hands, ma. It kind of took care of itself. Any
we talked
comments
about
from
that.
you guys fighting Boba Jabba, or I guess Jabba at large this week? Anything interesting you encountered out of the ordinary?
Yeah, I know that you and I talked about how I don't think the Boba Lead Jabba team is very good for various reasons, because I think that the Boba Lead team is almost a serious enough team on its own to not require the Jabba. And Cad Bane on that Jabba team with a support cron is usually going to be enough pressure to dissuade most people from Night Sisters. I mean, they can still win if they want to win it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to argue that. But if you're going to give them the Jabba team or the Boba Jabba team, I'd rather just have the Boba team on its own. Because, yeah.
I'm going to give 2 contexts to add to that.
Please.
Go. No, you know what, Sasha? You go, then I'll go.
Yeah, I'll go quick and hand it right back to you. So one, I saw the Boba Jabba team, and that's actually where I ended up using gas with the Rex FDC. I used the gas Rex squad
Nice.
for 63, and I got to admit, like it gets not really sketchy, but just it's slow going for a little bit as it ramps. But once it gets there, it's really effective. And the only thing, by the way, Dagger, that concerned me about the no Jabba there is I saw a lot of success, particularly from a couple of folks in like a GAC chat were showing where a Malgus Malik still two-manned any of the just non-Jabba Boba ones.
Fair.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, my just a quick response. My only response to that simply would be like my general defense this week was pretty heavy with Malgus Malik targets. If that was something you wanted to use, you could take your pick.
You got it. And you only have one set of those.
But you are right. There's a very cheap answer to it.
So I'll give the Boba one, and I took Tass's idea of it. They took the Boba Jabba, they set it all up. I took Night Sisters. Tash, you did Acolyte, and then we were talking it through because we all got to watch. Like I did it with everybody there, just so we could see it. I did it with Talia, set it up, and then set them on auto. I just had my DACA healer cron, but it was just protection. It's basically the one I would use for Inquisitors. So I took that and it's perfectly 65 did. I mean, obviously I needed to massage the very end, but it came out super clean, Talia, to get rid of it. So there was nothing there. So I kind of agree with Dagger. But on the other side of it, I was able to take the Boba team and go kill Inquisitors. And that was also clean banners. And I honestly, and I'll speak, the only reason I'm bringing it up and I was going to this is this feels like the I air quote it, the Fatal-esque version of, because you get to go and use Night Sisters to kill really high impact teams. You're getting to use Gas Krex. Gas Krex kills Pirate King, no problem. And I say that because I know CLS is there, but Gas Krex increases that like tenfold. You may take less banners, but it's highly consistent. A lot of these teams, and I know Dagger talked about it, and we all talk about meta matchups, but your troopers, your Imperial troopers with support cron are literally deleting everything. I lost my LV with the high setup to a perfect 65 of troopers and C. That's what we're playing right now. We're playing old school GAC with these off meta counters, and GLs are not the strongest thing on the yard, boys. It's these other teams. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to work with Stranger. Well, as we talked about, for the Stranger setup, I went and did Resistance because I know that we were doing the testing. So I got to do Resistance on it for perfect banners because you didn't put Barris there and you put all these other things. No Barris, cool, free win. That's the game we're playing right now. It's not about your GL. It's what off meta do I get to go use to kill your top team you think is going to hold.
Okay, fair enough. Any other comments on Jabba's, guys?
Yeah, I think that standard Jabba is going to be like a bait team this week. So probably be a little careful because there's a bunch of stuff that beats it, So pay attention to your own tendencies, because somebody might use that shit against you. Like Sasha said, with like the like seeing somebody gas it, seeing like there's just a few things where I'm just like, oh man, I know I'm gonna get caught out by somebody putting like Jabba up front and then getting hoed out by possibly getting hoed out by something in the back.
You guys have said it before, Tass, and I think this is never truer. If you have the GAC Scout, go run it on yourself. This is one right now. You need to look at yourself and see, oh, you want to do this, and then see if you can get outside of it, because that's just, you're setting yourself up for a lot of things if you're not willing to get outside of that.
Also, there's so much you can use. Like, if you have a good like rounding of crons, there's so much flexibility on offense right now that if you wanted to get out of your comfort zone, this is the safest time I can think of in recent history where you can leave your comfort zone and still have the tools required to clear.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Next item. We'd already kind of touched on it as fate would have it. Gas 501st or Gas Crex, but however you do it, Gas returning to prominence here after falling into some disuse. One round used regular Gas 501st to stomp out a Queen team for something like 63. Next round used Gas Crex against a little bit more of a dangerous composition for 64. And I think I encountered one on defense in round 3, set with the Rex FDC. Now that was full 501st. And man, I'm interested what you guys think is clean for that. That basically isn't Sith Eternal, I would imagine, because JML got like a 54. Obviously, we easily triggered the condition to have the protection disruption. I was successful against a different Jedi team, but not Gas 501st in a previous round using JML and came out with like the 65. Gas ain't that lad. Gas wasn't having it. And I'm curious what you guys think there, because the only thing I thought of that it would have been nice to have that I didn't, because I had Boba Bounty Hunters on defense as its own team, I didn't have my Bounty Hunter counter for Gas, which I think I might have actually had the speed to dare to try, but I don't even know if that was going to be okay against Rex FDC. What say you, gentlemen?
My first thought would be BKM or Balin.
Okay. I'll look it up
And the only reason I bring that up is because whenever there's a B-ish team, like B, you know what I mean, like high B to low B team, my first thought is, does one of these two teams beat it? Because if so, I can play musical chairs. If one of these two teams doesn't work, then I don't know how the musical chairs is going to work. Right? Because like that's basically what you're doing with all your B teams, and those two are my more expendable B teams.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't work, I'm looking at your screen, and it looks like they don't.
Yeah, it's basically C, JMK, JML, or Queen, or Pound Sand.
Well, specifically wasn't tried.
Yeah, sure. Things may not have been tried as well, but
wasn't tried.
Here, I can
Balin,
change.
never mind. Balin was a cleanup.
See what else we got. I just opened up the data to Relic 7. Sith Eternal Solo is a goose egg. I believe that. Trey is 33%. Ahsoka on offense. This is kind of interesting. I had an opponent do this to me and pull Ahsoka. We'll talk about that in a minute because I want to look up what he used it for.
There's a Balin 1-for-1.
Yep, 1-for-1, 57 with Queen Dash. That's using a tank
Afra. There's an Afra being 1-for-1 there as well.
Yep, 56 though. Yeah, sub 60 is something we're trying to avoid. It is neat to know.
Yeah, messy, but with the Pokron.
Yeah, and also a pretty weak Poe in 000 at that. Yeah. So there might be something to that. Okay, that's cool.
If Afra budgets into that, that's like...
I'd like that, yes.
Yeah, I couldn't set it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, fair enough. Anything...
I like it.
No, anything you guys had to say about Gas this week? Any standouts for you?
Yes, it takes a lot to kill it, but look what it kills when you take it on offense. This is I'm sorry, man. It kills any facet of Queen. It kills whatever you're doing for Pirate King, which is a strong setup, it kills almost anything you want to put up against it. Gas. So I said we're playing old school GAC. That the GL is not the thing right now, and gas is like, oh, do you want to risk it? That's what you're doing, man.
I think there will be people who pick up their Hondo. I know one of your patrons mentioned it about, are we picking up our Hondos to not get 501st or Troopered?
Yeah.
It's not an unreasonable question going into the third week here.
So again, this goes back to check your opponent's history.
Yeah.
If they have the inclination and the ability to pull these things off, maybe consider that in your game plan.
All right.
Is there a version of gas that doesn't drop adders though?
Yeah, the gas cracks
It
one
cracks.
with the tank on.
It's the
was like
closest you'll get, yeah.
Yeah, I got back-to-back 60. I got a 64 and a 65 or 63 maybe. I got like a 63 and a 65 versus Queen, and I don't think gas sat.
I think that's the same. My experience, right, Tass? We were doing it, and then I took the crash because I could afford it, and I was working my way back towards it, but gas never touched down at all. And so when I went in, it's just so crisp and clean. And then if you're willing to rework it, I think I was at a 63 for a while, and then I couldn't align it back to the 65, but ended up with the 64. So it's just butter.
You eventually get to the point where you're hitting them too hard to like stall.
Yeah. That's what it was. I couldn't do anymore. They had buffed themselves so much. When he finally took his first turn, it was touch, death, touch, death.
Yeah, Tash is playing.
Yeah, I have to show this to you guys. At least it'll be on in the background while we're still talking about gas. But I just wanted to point out that with the sorry.
To be clear, I am talking about the Hondo matchup.
Oh, the Hondo one, nothing's allowing it because of the ability to sustain. So you basically have to lose your fives is where it comes back to. But you're not having to do it. You're not having to give it up.
I think the worst case scenario is a 61.
Yeah.
I think the best case, the average case scenario is like 63, 64.
Now, I just want to show this in the background real quick.
What did you say, Fatal?
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, for the shit that I'm working on, I would happily give them a 61. That would be a sentence.
Fair.
Yeah.
Now, I hope you guys are seeing this because this is the Tankron, the 5s and Tankron that I have equipped. And I just wanted to show how funny this was. I'll speed it up a little bit. But the game has absolutely no earthly clue about what to do with gas doing all this.
This? So if you, and I told the task this too, if you ever go in Conquest and you're fighting gas and you take your Night Sisters, this is the same exact scenario. Basically what happened is you link gas, he loses prot, he gains it right back. So he stands right back up. So you live in a world where it's a link and set. So because of Lumi with the Kron giving the disruption, he sits, but with the application
he sits with full prot, and then he stands back up. It's very funny.
Yeah, and you can't, he basically just locks this way, but you can do that. And just a note for the people on Conquest, you take your Great Mothers, link it, he'll immediately sit and gets right back up, and you just keep doing it. And so that's exactly that interaction happening here.
This is like the definition of whack-a-mole, and I couldn't be more watching this happen.
I was so amused. And this happened the very next round when I used Gas Krex against another QA variant. So the Krex didn't do anything to change this behavior fighting into that
no, but it gives you way better banners
protection. Yeah, it was indeed better banners. I was just saying it's like in any of these cases the game's like
and what's funny is it's like he didn't actually take a turn though. So yes, you can make him sit, he can push back or whatever, but the minute he takes that first turn, the bodies will hit the floor. There will be nobody left.
All right, guys, next item here from Fatal. So you have some intel to share with us about Leia on defense this week. Let me pull up your history and take us through.
I don't really have anything particularly insightful to say here. Historically on this show, I have tended to say that Leia seems to tend to have a flash banging effect on people, where it's just like, they just haven't seen a Leia on defense in forever.
Yeah.
And I guess this season takes it a bit further, which is to say, Not only have they not seen Leia in forever, they have never seen a Leia with a support cron.
Fair.
Yeah, she got holds in 6 out of 6 rounds.
Nice. Yeah, expensive for the opponent to get through.
Yeah, I tried, I cut R2, posted OB Crex, and the idea being support cron, Crex, built to last. Yeah, just try to be a piece of shit.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, if people, again, this goes back to Fatal's point here. If people are planning to use on your offense, for our listeners, if you're planning to use something off meta versus Hondo, that rotates your SOK to wherever Ezra is, which does free up Leia to go on defense should you choose to do that.
that is interesting. That is fair.
It has been a very strange season in that respect. That is just like, well, I attacked first, and I dropped some banners. But I know that Stranger and Leia are seemingly just beating people up for 20 banners a pop for my lunch money. So maybe I'll be fun.
Good.
I really like that Leia count, by the way.
Yeah.
The old Ben Wookiee Chupio.
Mhm.
Very dirty.
A lot of stuff going on there. All right, guys. Before we move on from meta-analysis, anything else you wanted to cover? Any emergent counters that you thought were worth mentioning? This is the moment to share your cutting-edge intel.
I was going to bring up gas, but we kind of talked about that a little bit.
All right.
I feel like gas is, man, how long has it been since we've said gas is like going to be a staple on offense?
Relic
it just
10
feels good to know.
Dude,
Relic 10 win.
Troopers, Night Sisters. We're talking. Go
Yeah.
go pick your resource, and we're saying, oh no, I didn't go use that. What'd you do for this GL? Oh, I used old school gas. Oh no, we didn't do that. I went old school Night Sisters, not Great Mothers. No. Mother Talzin Night Sisters. Good to go. Troopers. Oh, I needed a clean 65. What'd you go use? Oh, I just went and troopered it. These are the things we do not talk about come, the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, using 2017 teams to beat 2025.
That's the GAC we're playing right now.
Although I guess gas was like 2018, but still. 2019? I don't know.
It's funny. I'm looking at it. I want to know. Leia with support, and this is Krex, Drogon, Old Ben, and R2 Boba team. 3-time seed, 100%. Excuse me, 2-time seed, 100%, 64 average. So Boba team killing it from not fatals. Don't get me wrong, but I just wanted to go look at the data.
Who are the 4th and 5th on those Boba teams?
It's Zam, and they actually used Bausch. So it's Bosk, Bausch, Dengar, and Zam. That's cool. You're telling me, Leia, you're setting a GL and Boba is just wrecking face.
Because I've seen a lot of people getting. First off, you're muted, Tass.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize. I was just thinking that would be some incredibly long dick stunting to pull that off.
But it's all working. That's my problem with this setup. It's like, I'm gonna go trick you with this. It's like, so this off meta beats that.
I'm just saying, if you've identified a way to still pick up like a Java solo somewhere in this meta, that would just be outrageous. Like efficiency.
There are people that set Treya.
True.
I will say though, that Forlom Zuckus, like the Bobo, Forlom Zuckus, Zam, Dengar teams, look really fucking good on paper. And I would love to try that on offense versus something.
Okay. Yeah. Try it against Riva. That's what TJ was trying to set me up to do the other night, and I didn't have to go that route, so I didn't. But I would have.
So I went old school. I did not do Forlom Zuckus. I looked at it because if you look at their stuff, they have too many dispels, and I'm like, I'm not playing with the Death Mark to do it. I took old school setups. I took Grief and I took Boba. And it was nothing about the dispel. It was just mass assist because they had the doubt application, and they killed themselves. So it was super fast and super quick, but you don't even know.
Grief.
Yeah, it's just like all you do is just be careful because they have no, but that's what I'm saying, right? But I'm like, I was looking at Forlom and Zuck, it's like this looks good, and I was like, but lower banners, it's like, well, yeah, if you go look at their stuff, they have this spell on almost all of their specials. Like, well, we're not doing that BS, so let me look at how I can mass.
I was thinking more versus Leia or Honda. We're putting it on defense because the Forlom and Zuckus thing looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I don't really have a problem beating Rivas. I don't really see them.
Fair enough. Any other counters you guys wanted to highlight? All right. Moving on in to favorite attack and defense of the week. Let me pull up what my spreadsheet real quick.
All right, we're going to hear the 11 attacks Tass did and the 11 defenses that he set.
All 11 of them, yeah. All right.
No, I'm just
I
giving you our
want to
time.
point out. I want to point out that Gungans was really good to me against a Finn Zori team with Poe, and then also against an Afra team with Poe. That was in round 2. Round 3, I used Gungans against the very same Afra team and got wiped out. I can't tell you how. I'm just not sure that there was a better set of decisions that I could have made that would have prevented that, but I can't be certain. Regardless, that was one of the counters that made the match feel like it was going to be a loss fairly early on, because between that counter failing and then the aforementioned 54 using JML versus Gas 501st with the Rex focus Datacron, yeah, that was a bad time. Really interesting composition. First time I've seen all season. I couldn't omit this. Was fighting Balin, Shin, Marok, Dengar, Zam. That was tucked in the back. Didn't really have anything great for it. Was looking at hacking it apart with a variety of expensive stuff. In the end, decided to risk a Balin mirror to see if I could take any enemies out. Surprise, we killed absolutely nobody. Nobody did stuff. However, we did keep the fight because we pulled the cooldowns on the entire team, after which GG Snap with an attacker cron, even though we had doubt making, B2 useless and a whole bunch of other stuff not happening, it cleaned it up pretty straightforwardly. Every time they took a turn to do a basic, Staff got a turn, we got to do stuff, and we got to kill a bunch of their guys before they got specials back, and that was the story. Anything else of note? No, I don't think so. Everything else was pretty straight. It's just been a lot of fun the last couple of weeks, rotating teams very aggressively. I've been having a lot of fun so far this season juking my opponents. So that was a fairly big theme this week. Dagger, how about you? Favorite attack and defense of the week? What do you got to say?
Probably just round 3.
Yeah, all right, I'm there.
We both used Mace against the Stranger.
Oh, okay.
Although that Stranger team I fought was like, it was so fucking easy, man. That team is like, on paper, that team's like, oh my god, this team's good, and then it was just like really bad.
So who was thinnest? Who got the lockdown on your attack?
The Stranger.
The Stranger did. Okay, yeah. I mean,
and then I just murdered Starkiller, and then I spent 45 seconds killing Ezra at the end.
Fair enough. Now, did anybody try? So a couple of folks tried JMM against this comp that Fatal's after, and yeah, 2 attempts, goose egg. So interesting for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Nothing else you wanted to highlight? Dagger?
Nope.
Okay. On to you, TJ. Your favorite attack and defense.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal yours because I don't know how you didn't talk about it. Using Karth against the resistance on auto.
That's a good one. Yes,
dude.
Yeah.
So come on now, we're talking
that's true.
about
that was in round 2. I'll find the video for that here, but that killed me.
You did. I'll let you
3.
take it because I stole it from you watching it. But like Karth for a 65 against what I arguably is such a strong Datacron.
Yeah,
like
the chat turned me on to that one. That was incredible.
Yep. So I'll use that. But I do want to comment because of these pull of all these resources from like the Ray. I did get to SLKR 2-man the Ray comp for a 68 to close out. So that was a fun and crisp and clean a way to do my round 2. Everything else kind of speaks for itself.
Fair enough. Sasha, how about you? Your favorite attack and defense of the week?
So defense, like I said, the story is failure, but not on my part, or not on their part. It's on my part for the defense not holding up. But the where I tried to come up with interesting angles, the first one of my matches, it was let's use. I love that Rex FTC, and so I decided to set Rex and Gas as the fifth with QA, fourth and fifth, thinking that might be really effective, but it got steamrolled by just a plain Bane. And then the next round, I kept QA on defense in the back wall, and I put Lumi and Cam, and I did it with a high health healer cron.
Mhm.
And I plucked some banners off at least,
Yep.
but
Off
a
Atreya.
Atreya worked there. Yeah, so again, nothing super impressive there. On the offensive side, I guess like it was already talked about, but using the Stranger really smoothly against Pirate King Hondo, and I know a lot of stuff is taking out Hondo at this point, but that was just a positive proof point for me that team had nice offensive ability and it was fun to use.
Mm.
In terms of like other attacks, let's see. The only other one that I'd call out was I liked Treya against the Stranger in in the middle match against Herbert, and like I said, that worked pretty well. But I think that's probably foiled by a healer cron. So this would
Fair
be
enough.
mine.
Fair enough. Appreciate that. And here, before we switch over to Fatal, I just wanted to put this up in the background, the Karth attack, quick.
Just got to make sure you've got your Zalbar with you on offense, because if he's set with like Ray or something, I
Yeah,
don't
the
think that
Zalbar
works.
is the critical element to this. Now, what's interesting here is that there's a weakness to this counter. If that Poe is, reasonably fast and also is modded with significant potency, your Zalbar might just stay stunned forever. You'll watch that. This fight can go on for a while. This already on fast? No, it's not. Let's put it up. So what you're going to see is Zalbar stays stunned for a long time, and they cleanse and they get the dots off and stuff. Eventually, when he gets freed up, he's they're not able to stun him with enough consistency to stop his backslaps from stacking the dots. So you'll see that there's a lull. Eventually, he gets freed. We start stacking up. Tank Fin eventually gets too many dots, keels over, and the rest takes care of itself pretty much right after that.
I wanted to say one thing, Tash, you brought up, and it's a good call out, and you were hearing it too. Vexatron did it in one of his roundups. So again, shout out to Vex and the other streamers. You said in replacing Jolie with Jahani. Well,
Yeah,
he
that
happened
was
to do that,
recommended,
and you, if you go back, go watch Vexatron's, but just calling it out here, the damage that Jahani was doing, she was on her AoEs deleting for the 500,000 that you had talked about. So to speed things up, if you're not wanting to let the dots do the work and you want your Jahani to do that it is true that the ramp was significant.
That's really good to know, because then that counter is not just crippled by a high potency, decently fast
Correct.
tank Poe.
Yeah, Jahani was the leading, I think 2 or 3, and then I think he slowed it down in the thing, but that was just ridiculous. But yes, not contingent or required.
If you read the Zalbar Omicron, whatever Juhani taunts, she gains 40% offense.
Yeah,
that was what it was. That's exactly
what it is. Yeah, and people go away. So stun be damned. So yeah, at her first turn, then you're just going to stick to the AoE. You're not going to bother putting up taunt.
Well, you need to hit her taunt so that
you
you
need
can
to
ramp.
taunt so that she gets the offense.
It's basically the 2-turn setup, but yes.
Got you. Yeah, it's a bomb. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, back on over to you, Fatal. Your favorite attack and defense of the week.
I don't even know if I have anything to say, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I got holds. Nobody's supposed to say anything interesting to fight. So I am largely just phoning in boring battles on offense and just I will probably just slip back into banner play this coming week, I think.
Okay.
Like the first couple of rounds, I was still kind of trying to mess around with overposting on defense, but no, I don't think it's worth it. I think just time to make sinners go back to paying for their sins. So
Very good.
just a question of I feel bad. I did mean to get some of the easy gimmick teams like Hearth Online for this week, and I didn't. So I might just try to force that shit anyway, and just like
I don't know how mod dependent it is.
yeah. Well, hey man, look, when Datacrons got announced, everyone said that mods were going to be trivialized anyway, right? So mod those characters, surely.
I gotta say, I have been enjoying the significance of my mods this season, with everybody having just cracked out crons. So it's been fun. All right, thanks, Fatal. We'll go right back around then to takeaways and final thoughts. Dagger, why not?
Hold on. Before we get there,
Oh, yeah, soapbox time. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for stopping me. Okay, let's talk about, everything in the news the last couple of days. We just had, Inquisitor Barris unlocked today. You were able to get your Spider Maul up to 5 stars today. And, of course, within the last day or two, they made the announcement about changing Datacron sets, having them last from 4 months, going down to 3, but also allowing for 3 sets to exist concurrently, because each one's only going to last a month. You have a compressed time to get your Datacrons per set, because there will only be 1 conquest per set. And the mitigating factor is they've lowered the number of factions to 2, so that you are more probable to get the crons that you're going for. That's fair. What am I missing? What did I leave out from that, guys? What do you have to say about that announcement?
From the way Meathead is talking, it sounds like they're also in Conquest with the new system going to slightly reduce the amount of materials you're going to get to force you to spend more in the store.
Yay!
The cost of level 4 to 6 has been halved from what I saw.
How significant is that?
Half.
Yeah, half. Yeah, I guess. I mean, so you're saying that if they're reducing the cost to do the leveling, and they're also reducing your access to materials for leveling, are we talking about a wash?
I think it also might be half cost for rerolls. I'm going to see if I can find the picture.
Okay.
I believe it was. It looked like it was starting at like 10 reroll material instead of 20.
So if we're getting less, if we're getting less materials and it costs less, then maybe it is a wash.
Is it really a wash? Is my concern. This is where in the
yes. Yeah,
I'm not talking about materials. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm concerned. We had a good setup of we had to work 1 conquest, and then 1 conquest essentially could be at a time off. So we were able to equalize out. You're essentially living in a world now where there's no time off. So it's forcing and pressing all of us to have to re-engage twice as hard when there was already what I would call fatigue on certain things. No one really was a fan of Conquest. It was a means to an end. But the oops, hey, my bad, I forgot to mention this, compounded by everything else, feels like a pretty big lapse, because either they were unhappy with what took place with the Datacron, so we needed a solution. So they wanted to come up with resources, but what honestly feels like to me, they don't want another slip, and the way to make it easier is to limit down and streamline more of the Datacrons. But the approach coming across and saying, now I have to invest every single conquest to make sure I get Datacrons. Again, you may not need them all, but I liked the approach of 1 was work, and then 1 I could tweak if I wanted to tweak, or you could essentially go in and just get your red crate. It does not feel like they're listening, and they're taking what I consider improvements and then taking steps backwards.
No, this is exactly what we asked for. We wanted them to change the meta more often, or make the meta feel more dynamic. This is what we asked for. Just not. It's the monkey's paw. We wanted them to address PvP. They did. Congratulations, they addressed PvP. Fuck all.
I will say, I think right now, I do very much the same thing of I try to rush to Sector 4 on the first day of Conquest and then dump everything
Right.
and all this. I think if you look at how the format is shaping up, I don't know. I think we're shifting towards a system where the stakes are just lower. Where like, okay, you're probably not going to have 30 datacrons per set breaking down, right? You're probably not going to be like throwing away 60 million data cache if you don't play your ass off on day 1 or day 2. So to that end, like yes, we might have to play every conquest, but it also might not be a I have to sit down for 3 hours, full attention, playing my ass off affair. It might just be a more chill, like, yeah.
No,
Oh,
I
hey, look,
agree.
the Datacron's scrapped. Okay.
I agree with you. Yeah. I'm more annoyed that the second conquest I get to take the last week off. So I don't get to take that week off
Yeah,
anymore.
not
And that's
anymore.
a small thing.
Yeah, you bum.
It's a small thing. It's a
That's
small
part
thing.
of it.
I do see, and I'm sure that's a core part of the logic behind the change is, FOMO drives purchasing behavior, and every conquest will be the first and only conquest from which you can get each datacron set now. I mean, you can do the store, you can do other stuff, but that'll be the only conquest opportunity. It is interesting and Fatal. I'm cautiously optimistic that what you're describing is going to be the case, that these are we don't have to go fully out as much for each of these sets, or there's probably the impact is maybe a little bit muted. They sounded like they're not going to make them as broad. It'll be 2 factions rather than what we've seen, like sometimes up to 4. Do we know, are we still playing with a 30 datacron limit per set, or did they say if they're changing that, or were they just silent on it?
They didn't. Yeah, there was just the update to the practice.
It's
Maybe
probably
it's
still
not
30. It's just
I would think so.
why would you?
Well, it is
Yeah.
true on the why would you. I guess my concerns are, one, people brought up the ability to get the calendar, and then obviously the Ascension. I don't know if everybody remembers, there was gaps where there was no calendar and there was no Ascension. So for the people who want to utilize those resources, and it may just become the store. So that's the
Yeah.
other one. And they have not addressed this, and I'm not saying they will. But I have to live in a. They keep changing what's consistent. So now I have to live in a world of inconsistency. So I have to ask the appropriate questions of, what does this do to FTC? Because right now the communication that they're giving is very sparse, and it's not just giving me one straight line to say, okay, I can look at this and I know this is what's going to happen. And so
they
that's
have
now
said that FTCs will be back next set.
They will.
Yeah.
Okay. So not for the current, not for the set that's just coming out now, the set after Fiddle, or they're coming out
Correct.
for this.
Okay, so that's
got
not
it,
being
got
touched,
it.
but that's so those are just the concerns I have. It's like, one, adding more time. Again, I think it's great. Having the materials, I think, is phenomenal. That's a great use of the resource, but I liked the setup, and I guess maybe that's the old grumpy me of stay out of my yard, let me just do my thing my way. But the other one is just, if they consistently give out the or ability to get the calendar and then get the Ascension pack, and then then I guess it's okay. But I do at least appreciate that they're trying to streamline these more and make them more in line, to where it's like, if I go grab 5 or 10 here, 15 here, and then it's like I'm good to go. That, which I guess will be wait to see, but it's just still a concern. I rather have just kept the process the way it was, because it was, to me, great.
I think I can make
Yeah,
a case. Or you go first.
So the thing that concerns me is that it's just the duration, and maybe if the true overall investment in accumulating a new Datacron set. Let's say one wants to go all out and one wants to accumulate 30. Like, here's the example that's probably going to be realized is
Mhm.
Every 3 or 4 sets they throw defense in. And maybe they do defense in the way
Yeah.
we've done it before. You can get up to 400%, and it is a game changer. And people go really, really hard, and they'll want to go so hard that most of the top end players will push for 30 of these datacrons, not necessarily, but a good amount, 20 something with high defense. And the thing that bothers me is that's an expensive outlay. it is kind of a pressure packed experience when you're doing that all in one conquest. So you're not going to be like backfilling it in a subsequent conquest, all in one conquest, and you're throwing a lot at it, and you only get it for 3 months. That sucks. And it may be, for example, it's really ideal for 3v3, and you're getting it to cover one 3v3 season because you have two 5v5s over those 3 months and one 3v3. And as a consumer who like I it's a little ironic to say this, but I'm kind of sensitive to it being just too obvious that I'm being preyed upon, and this feels like it has these predatory elements. And I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to spend a ton of money, but don't make me feel like don't put it so goddamn in my face. And I really like and respect a lot of what CG does. This is this is not like sheer animosity at them. I think they do a lot of great things with this game. And I suspect, and I kind of feel like this is a lot of financial engineering, and maybe it isn't.
Right.
But to try and sort of squeeze remaining incremental revenue out, and that's coming out of people like me, and yeah, it bothers me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. That was my initial knee-jerk reaction was, this is more blatant than a lot of the other things. And to me, it was less, yes, there's the cash grab aspect, but the other, like, it was like double knee-jerk. The first knee-jerk was like, man, like you said, my first thought was, what if they brought back dodge or defense? Right? And then what if that was for 3v3, that was the thing. Like, so you'd have to go in extra because you need more crons for more teams. And then my second thought was, well, now we can't bitch that they didn't address PvP. Fuck. But this isn't what I wanted.
I don't think,
I know that's
I don't think this is addressing PvP.
I think it's a pretty. I don't agree. I think that's a pretty oblique way to address PvP.
Well, my point is that this is a way to change the meta more often, which is what we ask for as a community.
It is.
And I'm not saying we have to like it, but that is what this does. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, they don't have to come out and say, "Oh, we did it." They did.
Yeah. Well,
I think that this is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a choice they might have made because of the effects that isolation has on the end game. Because right now, variety has been drained out of our current in-game experience. For us, is like Tip of Kyber 1. A lot of people tend to get the new characters because they want to play with them. You can't do that anymore. And so right now, I mean, in a sense, they all come in at once. That in a funny way, we're kind of in like an archetypal, like, it's more like a card game set or something. It's like, hey, here's a huge new wave. Here's all these new teams coming out. Whoa. But there's still a huge wait and build up to that. And so I think CG is looking at that and being like, this does not necessarily sit well with us because, yeah, man. I mean, look, it's 3 months. And what, any normal Datacron rhythm, which I say normal, by the way, we've been on triple Datacrons before.
Yes, but briefly, and they didn't like it, and we didn't like it.
No one liked it.
It does bring back around. Why are we here again?
Okay, I kind of liked it, but back then, it was 3 full Datacron sets simultaneously.
Yep.
Also, back then, Datacron, you would only get like 3 level 9s per set. 4 level 9s per set. Like, unless you wanted to heavily spend, the resources were much more constrained the last time we did this too.
Basically, like, you guys are concerned of like, okay, what happens if defense or dodge comes in? Would you say that the current perfect Datacrons are equal to like defense existing in terms of like impact?
I guess, sure. Something that would have a large impact on a given meta. Yeah.
Right now, maybe slightly less so. Before the changes, definitely more so.
As a litmus test, think about how many people are choosing to use gimmick FDCs over that shit. Because at least in my case, I'm running into it a lot. And that's not really how I intend to play. That's not really how I've been playing. But on average, kind of like I said, right? I expected that this week and this season would be 30 Rollcrons ramming into each other. And that is not what I have been seeing.
That's interesting.
And so
It's largely been that for me, but yeah, please continue.
I mean, we're talking about Rex, we're talking about Bobo, we're talking about like, yeah, it has been adding up and stacking up in a way that kind of like I'm seeing Poe, I'm seeing literally all of them, and so to that end, like I feel like at some point, the fact that you have a 30 cap does not mean you should get 30. Like, yes, 30 is 15 plus 15 for 33 board size. But, like, as much as people are... Like, we're also in this weird tension right now of everyone saying, like, man, we're going to have to work on so many datacrons. And yet, I feel like I'm the only person who looked at this news set and was like, yeah, there's some pretty decent stuff here. Everyone else that I've seen dogging is in this weird catch-22 where they're like, man, this set fucking sucks. And also, man, we're going to have to farm so many new datacrons. And I'm like, can we pick one? Does the set suck, or are you farming 30 of the set? Where I can't keep up. I'm having trouble here.
So if
the upside is that I feel like I mentioned I was talking with some of the patrons earlier today, and I was saying that a lot of these sets that are going to come out are going to feel like I don't get to participate with them fully, because the crons that come out for a 5v5, 3v3, 5v5, I'm going to feel like, all right, I get to build you for 1 week, and I get to try to tune you a little bit the next week, even though I don't have like and then all of a sudden that season's over, and it's like, oh, I didn't feel like I got to interact with this set very much. And I feel like that's the thing that's gonna suck the most, is I'm gonna end up with like somewhere between like 8 and 12 crons from a set, like level 9s from a set, and like 15 to 18 crons total, and I'm just gonna feel hollow almost, if that makes sense. Like I didn't get to experience the set. I didn't get the chance to, because we've had so many of these sets in a row where like, oh, I get to build my crons, I get to fine tune my crons. I feel like I get to fully experience the set. I get to build and then I get to edit. And that's just not really going to be a thing going forward. So I feel like part of my Datacron experience is being kind of stolen from me. And I know that sounds super dumb, but that is one of the reactions that I've had to this.
So if I can go ahead. No, it's fine, because I'm going to get on a longer soapbox, because I think the part of the craziness comes from CG reverting back to the old ways of, and it's really bad in my opinion. But you go first, Fatal, and then I'll chime in from there.
Okay. The thing that I would try to evoke, because I really enjoyed back when we had 3 Datacron sets running. The thing that I think people are possibly discounting is the ripple effect of 3 existing at once and the extra texture that can create. Because right now it's just like, okay, we have A plus B, A expires. It's B plus C, B expires, C plus D.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get onto the triple system, when A expires, B and C are still going, and then D bounces off of the other 2. And I remember that being pretty dang fun for the brief run that we had it, and then it was just kind of... Things just felt way more deterministic before, where like... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a content fiend, but I really do remember the once-a-month triple active system just feeling a lot more dynamic and fluid.
Yeah,
let me hold on, Dagger. I just want to get it out real quick, please.
If I can, I'll let you go. My apologies.
Oh, okay, man.
Sorry. I was saying I don't actually hate the every 3 months. I just feel like it's a combination of missing out and like not getting quite what I wanted. Sorry, TJ. Go ahead.
It's okay. So the problem is we live in a world completely on speculation. So what I talked about, the part of the big problem I am seeing right now with CG that is really frustrating me is they came so long in communication, and now we have done a 180, and they are probably at their worst end of trying to implement a lot of things without making it clear for the consumer. So we have to live in a world of, well, maybe it will be this, well, maybe it will be that. That always leads to more problems. That always leads to more chaos when you have to try to answer for them instead of doing what they did. And in my opinion, was one of the best states of the game when I could rely on them to tell me and me understand it. The relic delta that everybody hated so much, the communication was open, it was constant, and it was coming from multiple people. So one of the biggest things out of all of this that was a consistency was relic delta. So I'm willing to that to say the way they've been building this has really been putting almost 10 years for me, and I'm right back to the JKR status of I don't know what they're going to do. This to me was a huge change, and it was like a happenstance of oops, I got holiday fog brain, my bad, instead of saying a clear setup. I'm concerned because I was able to build my resources knowing that I could build 30, knowing I'm having the resources that were going to dust away because they built a really good system, and have that for rerolls and everything else into the next set. Now we know there's going to have more, so Fatal's right, but it's inconsistent. I don't know what we're getting into. To what Sasha said and what's the true state, we get the 30 cap. What if we get this set like we just have right now, where this is the ultimate set? You want all 30. You want to have all these pieces. And then now you have to build into that, and you have to go that 1 month to go super hard. And then that's going to dust two or whatever it is later. And this set is going to be amazing. Again, it seems like we won't do that, but I have to assume, I have to make assumptions on what they're doing. This is what I'm not liking about the game right now. It's been consistent with the whole era system. It's been consistent with the mall opening. It's consistent now with data crunch. Every facet is poorly communicated. It's badly set up, and we're left reeling, wanting to get into there. This is a problem right now that needs to be addressed, and they really need to get back to it.
They did communicate it though. They said that they're making each set smaller, and we're from 4 factions down to 2. Like,
but
that's it.
All of the pieces aren't there, in my opinion, though, Fatal. That's my problem. Is that they're saying it's more along the line. We have to see it happen, but I'm still concerned now because what if they make it could be down to 2 factions, but that 2 factions is set up, and this is the best set ever with defense, and it's got some of the best things, and they're going back to just setups like tank or healer or something else that's super strong.
We did see it happen. Have you gotten a crown from the new set yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got multiple ones, but my thing is, we're not seeing it for what's coming up next after that. Yes, we're seeing it for now. That's my problem. Is that it's still the messaging and whatever else. We're still having to left to see what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. I imagine it will be another Datacron set with 2, maybe occasionally 3 factions, and then FTCs will be back.
So wait, this is one thing I guess I haven't heard mentioned. Is something happening with FTCs? Are they being retired or?
No, there just are no FTCs this set, and it'll be back next set.
Oh,
yeah, that's okay, but that's what I said. Again, I'm left waiting to see, but it's just like I'm just not happy overall with the way it's going out.
TJ's point though, they have been a lot more proactive up until the last 3 months. They've been a lot more proactive with their communication, and they had been for a year, over a year, probably close to 2 years, right? They've been pretty proactive, and now it feels like they're reacting. They're way too reactive. Like, people pointed out, I thought it was a mistake. I know other people thought it was a mistake with the date, and oh no, LOL, no, we must have forgot about. Ha ha ha. It's like no. I get that you're telling us now, but fuck you, right? I get that you're telling us now, but we figured this out on our own before you told us, and I feel like that's the thing that TJ's saying. Where, correct me if I'm wrong, TJ, but I feel like that's the thing you're saying, that we now need to worry about you telling us after you do something.
It's just like I said, to me, Meathead, everybody, all of these guys were doing probably the best I ever felt for the game, because I could sit there and write it down, or just know that we've done it so many times where we talked about it. It's like, you guys can say whatever you want to say, but you know what? Come 3:45 my time. So again, I'm Arizona. I knew a kit was coming out, and he was staying consistent with messaging, and I could just rely on it. I could rely on their words coming out for me, so I could see it, and their information to me felt very clear. it could leave you a question or not, but Meathead was right on it, or the team was right on it, and they were addressing it. It's gone. I don't know why, but it's just bad.
Fair. All right. I mean, as far as my own take on this is, I'll wait until this is what I typically will say. Like, I want it to be live in game. I'll get into this conquest. I'll see how it feels. There's reason to be concerned. Keep your ears up. You know. Yeah, it doesn't look all sunshine and roses as far as some of these changes go, but it also doesn't look all bad either. So yeah, final judgment reserved. Guys, let me take it back around here to takeaways and final thoughts. Finally, back onto our regularly scheduled program. So we're heading into the final week. We didn't really spend any time talking about the new Datacron set in terms of crons that you might be interested in going for. I personally didn't put any effort into pushing any of them, thinking that I will probably be just fine for this last week without putting any extra resources into having some of these new crons, just between what I have from set 24 and 25. But anything interesting from you guys for the new cron set? I guess Fatal
Didn't
has
do
something in
shit.
mind.
Didn't do shit.
All right. Well, thank you, you bum. Fellow bum.
Yep.
Fatal?
Yeah, I love it. How dare you?
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with them just because, I intend to write on roll crons while they're around. But no, I was just like everyone that I saw when the Datacron set came out on multiple servers was like, "Damn, this new set sucks." And I took a look at it. I was like, "This shit looks perfectly fine. There's some pretty damn good stuff here." Like, I don't know, like people are just not envisioning what the set will look like when the set or when the how am I putting this? The isolation for certain characters ends. There's some pretty damn good stuff in set 26, and it will be interesting times for some people too.
Mine is just this: give love to the damn dark side. I love what you guys do for the light side, but I'll still keep let the dark side get some 25% turn meter. Let them get some bulk. Let them get just again. It's not bad, and I agree with Fatal. I looked at it initial, and I think it's just because we're all reeling on roll crons with perfection that I'm not going to call them bad. It's just you're talking like it's a difference of like fruit and a steak. So one's going to do the other, but you can't call the set and what it's going to do or it's going to accomplish bad at all.
I'll call some people out. There are people out there for whom, when the make good got announced, people were pissed. They're like, "Fuck, man! Everyone's just gonna have perfect Datacrons now. This is gonna be so shitty." And then the next Datacron set got revealed, and everyone's like, or not everyone, but like certain people I've seen in various Discord servers are like, "Well, this is Datacron set isn't Rollcron perfect stats. Why? This is dog shit. Why would I ever use this?" There's some there's 5 good level 3s here. There's multiple good level 6s. There's like 3 or 4 good level 9s. What are we doing here? This set is perfectly fine. People need to fucking chill.
Fair. Very fair. All right. So yeah, if there are no big plans here with the new Datacron set, Dagger, what would you say, you're taking away from this week and looking to apply here for the final week this season?
I think I'm gonna give the I don't know how much I like the Rex FDC, not in so far as I don't like it, but I really like the fives tank cron, right? So there's some tension there for me. But I want to try out the Rex FTC, I think, at some point. I'm not sure where. I don't know. I want to keep experimenting with things because I have found this to be a little more. I don't want to say fun, but more interesting because you have so many options.
Fair.
But yeah, somehow the high was 46 today, and it's balmy, and there's still fucking ice everywhere.
I believe you. All right, over to you, TJ. Your takeaways and final thoughts. What do you got cooking for this week?
I think we've been saying it pretty well. This is the one where the talk of possibly Pirate King is not on defense. Again, we're playing old school GAC, that the counters. As we've done here, let the mind games begin. number one takeaway from me: study yourself, and then if you're willing to get a little uncomfortable to flip some things around. And I hate to say it, I've seen it for the streamers and like the burn down. If you get to go first, I know Fatal talked about it. It also feels that way for the non-streamers, that if you want to go play the game and you don't want to stay sweaty or something like that, and you go first and you burn a bridge, or you made a drop because you wanted to try something out and then you just lose because of that, that feels bad. So it's like, how sweaty do you want to go? It's like, well, we're gonna wait it out, and you make a move first. No, you make a move first. So it's just to study yourself, and then if you're willing to risk it out, we'll see what it has. And if you just want to go have fun, go have fun. I'm having a blast doing old school counters that haven't been able to be used for years, and saying the teams of like the likes of Karth. That's a lot of fun.
Fair. Appreciate you. All right, over to you, Sasha. Your takeaways and final thoughts. Schemes to employ against your 2 real opponents and then 5 Erodiums.
Yeah, I think there's some real positives that I want to make sure I and maybe others don't lose sight of, is that I do feel like the current set, and probably amplified by having 3 sets eventually live in play, is realizing the real potential that Datacrons bring to the game, of like just major variance in how teams perform, and like comps that are viable, and strategic opportunities in the game. Like I feel like it is a very vibrant and kind of like flush uh meta right now from that regard, because we have a great set, hugely impactful set that's out there. We've got a new set that's coming in. There's a lot going on, and that is fun, and it does translate into, like, kind of like TJ was saying, like, it's a neat moment where anything could be anywhere. And don't get me wrong, I am frustrated that the anything that I put on a specific wear on D is not yielding quite the results yet, but that's on me. I I think there are positives out of that, and I think that's a lot of fun. The other thing that I'll say as a reminder, that I'm hopeful that there's an aspect of this, and that, like TJ was saying, I think a big part of the challenge that we've had with some of the major subject or major information coming lately is the inconsistency of communication, and maybe the holidays played a role in that. We've certainly seen over the years that CG shuts down. There's inconsistent communication. Maybe there's some return to cadence of normalcy and better channel of communication to come. So there's reason for or some small basis for optimism on that front. So overall, I, as wary as I am, and as maybe like kind of sensitive as I am to some of the like predatory game and our financial model changes that they've made, overall, I think there's a lot to be positive about. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, and how I'm trying to sort of at least anchor my perspective at the moment.
I appreciate that. The measured response. All right, over to you, Fatal. Your takeaways and final thoughts. What is the scheme supreme for week 3?
I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I did mean to kind of broaden my horizons and get some of the gimmick FTCs online, but that didn't happen. I guess it don't really needed to happen. It was more so just, I don't know, more safety blankets, more options. Can't really hurt, but I don't think I'm like sunk for not having that. But it's just, yeah, I'll keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here, that very similar to when the Datacron Make Good happened. I would continue to say that I think, there are reasons to be concerned, and there is stuff that I'm concerned about that we haven't even talked about. But by and large, big picture, broad product, I think that the game will feel more fun once we are in it. Every month, we are going to have a new Datacron set to talk about, and we are going to have 2 other Datacron sets for it to bounce off of like, ooh, well, what does this mean, or what does that mean for that? And at the same time, when a conquest starts, I am not going to have to sweat my ass off. And that is a different dynamic. Certainly, I think a big reason of why my second conquest needed to be a fuck off, take a break, don't even play it for 10 days conquest is because the first conquest was a bit fucking much a lot of the time. I don't know. I'm open to changes. Some other concerns we haven't really touched on. I think there's a possibility that data cache gets crunched on, that the reroll cheapening will help a bit on, but I would still be definitely monitoring that. It looks like the relic requirement slipped up by 1 from 135 to 246. It is unclear if that was intentional yet or not. To what was mentioned before, I would suspect that a lot of it probably just came from they were out in the holidays, and this might have been a quick decision when they were back that didn't really have much runway.
Fair.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying the season. It's more so just, I don't know. I guess I kind of thought that opponents will be posting cooler teams than they are, so I felt kind of dressed up with nowhere to go, and so knowing now that is the situation, I'm just like, all right, I guess I will just go back to regularly scheduled, just beat some asses.
Makes sense. Now, of course, you're going to be live streaming your matches this coming week. Where can the good folks find you?
Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/ThePlaybook.
All right. Always a pleasure having you. And thank you, gentlemen, for today's show. Yeah, for my part, I think that as far as this Datacron stuff goes, I do appreciate that, just listening to your comments there, Fatal, it teed me up pretty well because, yeah, I think that the one thing that's underappreciated here is that with the Datacrons being more temporary than ever in this new configuration, we're not really going to have much opportunity to complain about a stale meta. We've had over the last couple of years metas that we've liked, metas that we didn't like, and they've certainly, by and large, tuned these Datacrons in where sets really weren't too crazy. Like the craziest thing we had was this long text attacker level 6 that drove all of this recent controversy. And even obviously we're all bored with it because of how overpowered it is. But when you think about other sets that you've liked and whatever, it's really just calcified the meta relatively early in its lifetime, and then you're just kind of rinse and repeat for the next few months. So I can absolutely appreciate that we'll have considerably more variety. I'm into it. Definitely keep your eyes open for what else is coming around surrounding it, because yes, we still don't have all of the relevant information. But as far as going in for a Grand Arena this week, I will be at my strongest in the sense that I've made just some minor tweaks on stuff I was already doing here for the first couple weeks, but I also have 2 weeks of history for all of my opponents that I will be digging into rigorously for opportunities to upset their preferences, because, yeah, at least certainly where I'm playing, folks are still not really trying to get too rough and tumble in the sense of planning on there being multiple drops involved. So I think that there's opportunity to punish here in this week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in all the way to the bitter end. And once again, of course, thanks to my co-hosts here, Dagger, TJ, Sasha, Aisha, and Fatal, for sticking with me. But if you want to catch me live this week, that'll be at twitch.tv/Tassenix. I'm also simulcasting live from my YouTube channel, Tassenix Gaming, where if you've not been there before, you should check it out because there's a whole bunch of Slug-related content over there that you may be interested in. Stuff like the Grand Arena Omicron tier list. You've got the Datacron set guides for these current sets. Not yet the new set. I got to make that one. We've got the How to Mod Guide series, the How to Use Hot Utils, get the most out of that for automation and stuff like that. And all my Grand Arena VODs. It's also a rebroadcasting point for this very podcast, Plotting and Scheming, which is native to Spotify. But wherever you catch an episode, check the description. There is a link that you can use to plug into your preferred podcast program and follow us that way. Anything that you enjoy over on my YouTube, please hit like, hit subscribe to the channel to see more. Follow me on Twitch. Definitely the best ways to support the channel, absolutely free. If you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty to support the channel, there are a few ways to do so. I do have a Cash App that is $Tassenix. I have a PayPal, that's tassenix@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting some enhanced Grand Arena scouting power of your own, early access to the Plotting and Scheming Show, and a few other benefits besides, you may be interested in becoming a patron of mine over at patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the Task House at VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming Show. That's coming out for our general audience Friday mornings at 8 a.m., but patrons have it as early as Monday or Tuesday night, depending on when we sit down to actually record it, giving you that early edge going into the first round of the week. In addition, I do occasionally make patron-exclusive videos that you'll have at least a month ahead of the general public, and of course, a dedicated text and voice chat on Discord where I am generally lurking, so pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to Andrew, Banja, Boba Iza, Deadpool Cow 28, Heratran, JJ's Productions Twitch, Jobin4527, Miasmal, Mus Ross, Raise Malbus, Sam Vimes, Sheepdog 47, Shake 23501, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, and White Wolf. Moving on up to the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of all of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs showing you your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable HTML version of that report with embedded links that take you right back into Swugga.gg or Insight with data pre-sorted, so just helping you further minimize your scout. Alternatively, you might go for Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your number one tool for mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal Dude to comprehensively remod your roster with the powerful automation feature. You can slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, help out your guild in TW, instantly convert all of those bronziums into God only knows what, and so much more. No wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you so much to Aussie Mike, Darth Salea, Ash Sotnikam, JJ's Dad, Frick-Frack Paddywhack, Ganroth, Gates, Mr. Tony, Revenite, Single Malt Jedi, Snack Attack, Striker, Supermard, Trouble Fingers, Zoltre, and I also have one new sign up that I wanted to make sure I cover. It's Roarer. I'll add him onto the slide here, in time for next time. But thank you for signing up as well. And of course, moving on up to the top here is VIP Access Premium. That is $15 a month for the Double Bot Bundle. So Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils, all under one subscription. Just going out and getting these bots themselves any other way costs the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it's one of the best values in the game. Thank you so much to Argots, Bjorn, Big Ninja, Depressed Wampa, Darth Link, General Milan, Huitzi, Ivanek, Johnny B. Ottawa, Kev, Mini GK, Pills, Rawling, Saldag, Sir Boss, Sophis, Sprizzle, The Lost Womprat, Wilco, and Bane. At the top of the list, Ingesters Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, extraordinarily generous man who's popped in many, many times over the years and just showered the community with love. Hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, done it many, many times carrying hype trains. Can't say how much I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. To Pills, another likewise incredibly generous supporter, made a name for himself, mostly popping in towards the end of my streams and just surprising us with, 10 subs here, 100 subs there. Never quite know what to expect from Pills, but it is always appreciated. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Special thanks go out to the Lost Womprat, one of my patrons who's gone above and beyond the Call of Duty, helping me troubleshoot all manner of IT issue in the background, whether that's OBS, my Stream Deck, something else. Always helpful, always appreciated. Thank you so much, man. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me something to eat or drink while I'm live on stream, or just keeping our daughter from tearing the house apart while I'm trying to be the very best like no one ever was at a phone game. And of course, again, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to record our show together. Despite the pressures of work and family, you guys make yourselves available every week to record our show, And I surely appreciate it because I learn from every episode. Hopefully, you guys get something out of it every time as well. But regardless, it's not about us. It's about the community that tunes in to listen, to watch. And it's rare that a day goes by that I don't get some type of DM or comment thanking us for something that we're talking about here because it's helping folks raise their GAC game. We're having the effect that we wanted to with this show. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Wouldn't change a thing. All right, that about wraps us up. You've made it. You survived to the very bitter end, and thank you. And yeah, I'll be around Wednesday evening or Thursday in the afternoon. For exact details, stay tuned to my Discord where I will make an announcement. But thanks again for watching, and until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.